healing the sacred circuit, there are, of course, many powerful ways, maybe a few really great ways. And on those I'd like to focus as much as I can. Well, I'm a big admirer of a wonderful writer and shaman named Barbara Hand Clow. Barbara Hand, like a hand on an arm, Clow, C-L-O-W. Her books are so shamanic, something incredible. She, about the importance of symbolic sight. For native peoples, it was a key, of course, to living in harmony with all things. And so, for instance, they would see the turtle, whereas we see a turtle, like this reptile with a shell. Not much to think about for modern white people. They would see it as the teacher about making home, and how it teaches us how to make home, to be at home in our bodies or wherever we are. And they had this whole deep thing called turtle medicine, turtle divination, and their symbolic sight told them about the living library of Earth, that everything is an amazing part of the living library, a key. And we are like the library, we, the human beings, can be the library card to activate these things and to activate the beauty and the power and the multidimensionality of the Earth. But we have to understand that, as the phrase goes, nothing is as it seems. There's always much more than that which meets the eye. So, a jaguar, for instance, is the teacher of the sky connection, connecting heaven and earth, and about sky connection, basically, and walking in integrity and courage, like the lion as well. Courage from the word coeur, the French word for heart. And the snake is the teacher about staying grounded, how to stay grounded and on the path. Also, the way he moves, his spiralic, winding movements, is a teacher about the spiralic cosmic orbits that they had great knowledge about. So again, this living library, snake is not just a snake, but our teacher about the movement of the cosmos. The spider, geometric connections between the intersections of her web. Grandmother spider that weaves, that wove the first language, that the weaver of creation. Well, these are not simple, primitive stories. They understand that there are deep keys when you study the webs of the spider and the behavior of the spider and the geometries and the angular relationships of her web. So Clow discusses this, explains it beautifully in all of her books, but very much in her amazing third part of her Mind trilogy, her third part, which is called Signet of Atlantis. An amazing book. And incredibly shamanic. So, what about us? If the turtle is the teacher about making home, and the jaguar are walking in integrity and sky connection, and his dots are actually have stellar connections and radiate lines to the stars that some people could see in the night sky. In the night they could see these radiations, and so on and so forth. What about us? What are we represent? What are our forms representative of? What is our symbolic main teaching? Well, she says that we, and Native Americans say this, we are the bridge between heaven and earth. The rainbow bridge. We walk vertical, connecting sky and earth. I mean, we could see that, right? But preferably the rainbow bridge. It's completely necessary if we're going to survive. The bridge of all the colors that harmonizes with all the shades of life and all the creatures of life. And here again we have this idea of the sacred circuit, and we have to be aware. How is our sacred circuit? How is our second chakra, second brain area? Are we in alignment above and below? And we need to have the wit to realize when we're not, and to bring ourselves into alignment with above and below. Clow, in her absolutely incredible book, The Pleiadian Agenda, Alchemy of 9 Dimensions, in which she presents the nine dimensions of reality and explains her personal experiences with the beings of these dimensions and instructs us how to connect with these dimensions. Anyway, in this book, the Pleiadians tell us that our actual root chakra is the center of the earth, and our actual crown chakra is the center of the galaxy. And so we are bridges between sky and earth, much more than we imagine, perhaps. They teach us that in the center of the earth is actually a holographic light world, a light world of creatures and mountains and forests and oceans and streams, and a perfect holographic microcosm of that which is on the surface, including beings, including animals, and aspects of ourselves, as I understand it. In this perfect Garden of Eden world, a literal Garden of Eden, a morphogenetic hologram at the center of the earth. If the creatures and the vegetation and didn't exist in that perfect hologrammatic world at the center of the earth, in this like bubble of light universe, then there would be no code or ability for them to exist on this surface. It's only because they're existing there and have been sort of coded into the nucleus of the earth at this dimensional level of this light world that they could exist physically on the surface. So that's where our root chakra is. Our root chakra is in that world. Maybe it is that world. And so it's accessible to us as well. Also like the center of the galaxy. The center of the galaxy, our crown chakra, it's also, as I understand it, all of the creatures in the galaxy, their hologrammatically coded into that galactic center somehow. And because it's coded there and existing there and living there, it can express in the physical galaxy. It's like a galactic library. Like the core of the earth is an earth library of life, living library. Nothing is as it seems. Everything is coded within coded within coded. And apparently, the sacred stone Neolithic monuments, or even more ancient monuments, like Adam's calendar, said to be maybe 200,000 years old, in South Africa. These ancient megalithic circles, at key times of the years, solstices, equinoxes and such, they become active vortexes and dimensions, and maybe not just at those times. And there's increased access, actually, to these worlds, which are part of us, which are our root chakra or crown chakra. So the shamans would do ceremony at these times in these places and travel to these worlds of the inner earth, of the galactic center. But my understanding, my intuition is that since it's our root chakra and our crown chakra, somebody like Barbara Hand Clow, like I hope to get to this place, and in some level I can do it. We can go there even now. And she teaches this meditation where you alternate between that existence at the galactic center, crown chakra, Shamanu, ours, and the earth root chakra, and they go and they meditate. She takes groups, and they go from above to below and above to below, and they do this practice, and in this way they anchor these systems within their bodies. And I think a person needs to ground their heart chakra and their in-body chakras, have them pretty strong, pretty stable, before they begin a practice like this. But I do love to go to that perfect hologrammatic world, to imagine myself there simply. I imagine myself there, but this is traveling in our light body. When you imagine and it becomes real enough, then you're really there. So I do like this practice, especially of going to the inner earth. And I guess, and I do have aspects that already live there. So something to ponder. And I would like to go back to Cryon and his golden room and the golden chair for a minute. I just want to add, he also talks about this white room, I suppose with a radiating white light chair, the essence of white light all around the room. He implies, he says very definitely, settle the gold room first. It's a huge key, and it's connected to self-assurance, self-esteem. Settle the gold room first. But physical healing, he seems to say, is actually very connected to abundance. And those things are also very connected to the energy of the white light. So after, as I understand, he seems to be saying, after settling that gold room and making it our home in a way, and part of me is there right now, then there does come a point where you also want to become at home in the white room, because that white room is particularly connected to physical abundance and physical healing.